There's a fruit that grew across this land long before blueberries became popular. It thrived without fertilizer, survived drought, handled pests on its own, and kept producing year after year. Native communities relied on it. Wildlife loved it, and it never needed special care. Today, most gardeners don't even recognize it, not because it isn't valuable, but because it quietly disappeared from our conversations. Welcome back to Gardens Heaven. If this is your first time here, you're in the right place. This channel is all about smart, affordable gardening tips that actually work, especially if you want more harvest without spending more money. And to everyone who's been watching, liking, and supporting this channel, thank you for being part of this growing garden family. Now here's the surprising part. This forgotten native fruit is more nutritious than blueberries, tougher than most modern crops, and easier to grow than many plants you already have in your garden. Yet almost no one grows it anymore. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is, why it disappeared, and why bringing it back could completely change the way you think about fruit gardening. Stay with me, because this might be the most underrated plant you'll ever grow. They call it pawpaw, and it's one of the few fruits that truly belongs to this land. Long before grocery stores and commercial orchards, this tree grew quietly along riverbanks and forest edges, feeding native communities and wildlife alike. It didn't need special treatment, rich soil, or constant attention. It survived because it was built for the environment, not bred for profit. Pawpaw is often overlooked because most people have never tasted it fresh. The fruit is soft, delicate, and ripens quickly, which makes it nearly impossible to ship long distances. That single trait pushed it out of modern agriculture, even though its flavor is rich and its nutrition rivals, and in some cases exceeds, that of blueberries. For home gardeners, this means something special, a fruit you almost never see in stores, but can grow right in your own space. What makes pawpaw truly valuable is how little it asks from the gardener. Once established, the tree resists most pests, rarely suffers from disease, and does not demand chemical sprays or expensive inputs. It grows steadily, produces generously, when planted with companions, and rewards patience with fruit that tastes like a blend of banana, mango, and vanilla. This is the kind of plant that fits perfectly into a low-cost, high-reward garden. Pawpaw trees grow at a pace that suits real-life gardeners. They are not in a rush, and they don't force you into constant work. In the first few years, the focus is simply helping them settle in with some shade, consistent moisture, and undisturbed roots. After that, they largely take care of themselves, sending down deep roots that make them more drought-tolerant than many popular fruit crops. Another reason pawpaw deserves more attention is its nutritional value. The fruit is high in calories from natural sugars, rich in potassium and magnesium, and contains notable levels of antioxidants. For native communities, it was an important seasonal food that provided energy and nutrients when other fruits were scarce. Compared to blueberries, pawpaw offers more substance per bite, making it especially valuable for gardeners focused on food security, not just flavor. Harvest time is where pawpaw shows its true personality. The fruit doesn't need to be pulled from the tree. When it's ready, it softens and often drops on its own, signaling peak ripeness. This natural timing removes the guesswork and ensures the best taste. While it won't sit on a shelf for weeks, it shines when eaten fresh, frozen for smoothies, or used in simple recipes right from the garden. One of the biggest mistakes gardeners make with pawpaw is treating it like other fruit trees. It does not like its roots disturbed, and it does not respond well to heavy pruning. In nature, pawpaw spreads slowly by root suckers, forming small patches of trees that support each other. When gardeners mimic this by planting 2 or 3 trees close together, fruiting becomes more reliable, and the trees grow stronger over time. Pawpaw also fits perfectly into a budget-friendly garden because it needs very little added input. A layer of mulch to protect the soil, occasional watering during long dry spells, and patience are often all that's required. There is usually no need for pesticides, because the leaves contain natural compounds that repel many insects. This makes pawpaw an excellent choice for gardeners who want to grow food safely and naturally. If you're wondering why this fruit matters now, It's because gardening is changing. Rising costs, unpredictable weather, and declining pollinators are pushing gardeners to rethink what they grow. Pawpaw offers resilience, nutrition, and a connection to native food systems that worked long before modern gardening trends. Bringing it back isn't about nostalgia, it's about choosing plants that are built to last. What makes pawpaw even more exciting is how versatile it can be in your garden. You don't need a massive orchard to enjoy its benefits. Even a small backyard or a corner of your yard with partial shade can support a few trees. They naturally fit into woodland edges or along fences, blending beautifully with other shrubs and perennials while quietly producing fruit year after year. Many gardeners don't realize that pawpaw trees can also attract beneficial wildlife. Birds and small mammals enjoy the fruit and help with seed dispersal, while insects use the tree for shelter without harming it. This means that planting pawpaw can improve your garden's overall ecosystem without any extra effort on your part. It's a fruit tree that gives back in more ways than one. By now you're probably starting to see why pawpaw is such an underrated treasure. If you've learned something new so far, take a moment to hit that like button, leave a comment about where you'd plant your pawpaw, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss more garden tips that save money and make your yard thrive. Stick around because in the next section, we'll dive into the best tips to grow pawpaw successfully, even if you've never grown a tree before. Growing pawpaw successfully starts with choosing the right location. Young trees prefer partial shade, mimicking the forest understory where they naturally thrive. Planting them in rich, well-draining soil with consistent moisture gives them the best start. Once established, they can handle more sun, which encourages stronger growth and larger fruit, but too much direct exposure too early can stress seedlings. Another key to success is planting more than one tree. Pawpaw flowers are not self-pollinating, so having at least 2 genetically different trees close together significantly increases your chances of fruit production. If you only plant one, the flowers may bloom beautifully, but fruiting will likely be minimal. Nature has designed them to work in clusters, so giving them company is part of their charm. Patience is essential with pawpaw. The trees take a few years to reach fruiting age, often between 4 and 8 years, but the payoff is worth it. Once they start producing, you can enjoy abundant harvests for decades, with minimal care. Keep the soil mulched, watch for pests though serious problems are rare, and let the tree follow its natural rhythm. Your patience will be rewarded with a fruit that is unique, delicious, and completely worth the wait. Harvesting pawpaw is a simple but delicate process. The fruit is ready when it softens, and the skin turns a deep yellow or brownish color. Unlike store-bought fruits, it won't last long on the shelf, so picking at peak ripeness is essential. Many gardeners let the fruit naturally fall to the ground when it's ready, then gently collect it to avoid bruising. Once harvested, pawpaw can be enjoyed fresh, blended into smoothies, or used in desserts like puddings, ice creams, and breads. Its flavor is creamy and tropical, often compared to a mix of banana, mango, and vanilla. Because it is so perishable, freezing extra fruit is an excellent way to store it for later use, keeping its natural sweetness and nutrients intact. In addition to being a delicious fruit, pawpaw connects you to the land and history of native foods. By growing it, you are reviving a plant that has fed people for centuries and offering something rare and nutritious to your family and friends. It's a fruit that's more than just food. It's a piece of living heritage you can enjoy right in your own backyard. One of the best things about pawpaw is that it encourages creativity in the garden. Because it doesn't require constant maintenance, you can pair it with other native plants, shrubs, or even flowers to create a mini wildlife sanctuary. Its leaves provide shade and habitat, and the fruit attracts birds and small mammals, adding life and movement to your garden without extra work. Pawpaw also offers an opportunity to educate family and friends about native foods. Many people have never heard of it, and tasting it fresh often leaves a lasting impression. Sharing recipes or hosting a small pawpaw harvest tasting can turn your garden into a place of learning and enjoyment. It's a fruit that sparks curiosity and conversation, connecting people to both nature and history. Now, as we wrap up, remember this pawpaw isn't just another fruit tree, It's a resilient, nutritious, and historically significant plant that rewards patience and care. While it may not fit in a commercial orchard, it fits perfectly in a home garden, offering flavor, nutrition, and a connection to the land that few modern fruits can match. Starting your pawpaw journey is easier than you might think. Choose a good location with partial shade for young trees. Plant at least 2 for proper pollination, mulch the soil, and give them time. With minimal maintenance, you'll soon have a tree that produces fruit year after year, enriching your garden and your meals. Thank you so much for watching Gardens Heaven today. If you learned something new, please hit that like button, leave a comment sharing your pawpaw plans, and subscribe for more tips to grow amazing food without breaking the bank. Bringing this forgotten native fruit back into our gardens is simple, rewarding, and a way to honor a plant that has been part of our land for centuries. Stay curious, keep gardening, and I'll see you in the next video.